Let your friend choke to death out in that river.
I'd rather die than done that.
And you're a liar.
From 1970 to 1976, something revolutionary happened in American cinema. While John Wayne was still riding tall in the saddle, a new kind of Western emerged, one that put black heroes front and center for the first time. These weren't just token roles or sidekicks. These were gunslingers, outlaws, and heroes who commanded the screen and rewrote the rules of the Wild West. But here's the thing. Most of these films have been buried, forgotten by mainstream Hollywood history despite their cultural significance. Today, we're digging up 10 blaxploitation westerns that deserve your attention. Films that combine the grit of the frontier with the swagger of 70s black cinema. El Condor. Jim Brown was already redefining what a black action star could be when he teamed up with Western legend Lee Van Cleef for this explosive heist film. Brown plays Luke, an escaped convict who partners with a gold prospector to raid a Mexican fortress rumored to hold millions in gold. What makes El Condor stand out is how it flips the script on traditional Westerns. Brown isn't just physically dominant, he's the strategic mastermind, outsmarting both the Mexican army and his own partner. The film doesn't shy away from addressing racial dynamics either, with Brown's character facing discrimination even from his allies. Director John Gillerman shoots the Mexican landscapes with epic scope, but it's the chemistry between Brown and Van Cleef that drives the film. Their uneasy alliance, built on mutual need rather than trust, creates tension that explodes in the film's brutal climax. While El Condor focused on a personal quest for gold, our next film took a broader historical approach, shining light on a chapter of American history that mainstream Westerns had largely ignored. The red, white, and black.
Well, there are your ponies, walking horse.
And two white men.
Also known as Soul Soldier, this film stars Olympic gold medalist Rayford Johnson in a rare dramatic role, telling the story of the Buffalo Soldiers, black cavalry regiments who fought in the American West after the Civil War. The film doesn't sugarcoat the Buffalo Soldiers' experience. These men faced discrimination from the very army they served, were given the worst assignments, and still performed with distinction. Johnson plays a soldier who joins up less from patriotism than as a way to escape vengeful husbands, but finds purpose in the regiment's struggles. What's remarkable about the red, white, and black is how it complicates the traditional Western narrative. These black soldiers are fighting Native Americans while themselves being oppressed by white society, a moral complexity rarely seen in Westerns of the era. From the military frontier, we move to a more intimate story of family survival in the untamed Arizona territory. Man and Boy. Bill Cosby was still known primarily as a comedian when he took on this dramatic role as an ex-Union soldier who settles in Arizona with his son. Cosby's Caleb Revers is a man determined to build something for his family in a hostile environment, both natural and human. The film pairs Cosby with the formidable Yaphet Kotto as a bandit who threatens their homestead, creating a tension-filled dynamic that showcases both actors' dramatic abilities. What distinguishes Man and Boy is its focus on the father-son relationship at its core. This isn't just about gunfights and frontier justice. It's about a father trying to teach his son how to be a man in a world that doesn't value black manhood. While Man and Boy explored the personal frontier experience, our next film took a broader view of the post-Civil War black experience, with two of the biggest black stars of the era joining forces. Buckin' the Preacher, Sidney Poitier, not only starred in, but made his directorial debut with this powerful Western that paired him with Harry Belafonte. Poitier plays Buck, a trail guide helping freed slaves reach new settlements in the West, while Belafonte is the con man preacher who reluctantly joins his cause. The film doesn't hold back on showing the dangers freed slaves faced after the Civil War. Bounty hunters and former slave owners sought to terrorize them back into servitude, while land agents tried to exploit them. Against this backdrop, Buck and the Preacher form an unlikely alliance that evolves into genuine brotherhood. What makes this film special is the chemistry between Poitier and Belafonte, two titans of black cinema playing against type. Poitier, usually cast in dignified roles, gets to be tough and physical, while Belafonte, known for his charm, plays a shifty character who finds redemption. Just as Buck and the Preacher fight to protect newly freed slaves from relentless bounty hunters in the post-Civil War West, the Black Bounty Hunter takes this struggle into the gritty heart of urban crime, where justice is as hard-earned as survival. The Black Bounty Hunter. This hard-hitting Western follows the journey of a former slave-turned-bounty hunter as he tracks down wanted criminals across the frontier. What sets this film apart is its unflinching portrayal of the dangers faced by a black man operating in a profession dominated by whites in the post-Civil War era. The protagonist must navigate not only the dangers inherent to bounty hunting, but also the constant threat of racial violence. The film doesn't shy away from showing how even when armed with legal authority, black men in the West face challenges their white counterparts never had to consider. Director and star Fred Williamson brings a raw authenticity to the proceedings, filming on location in rugged terrain that emphasizes the isolation and vulnerability of his character. The action sequences are brutal and realistic, avoiding the stylized approach of many Westerns of the era. What makes The Black Bounty Hunter particularly compelling is how it uses the Western genre to explore themes of justice and revenge. Is the protagonist bringing criminals to justice, or is he using the badge as cover for settling personal scores? This moral ambiguity adds depth to what could have been a straightforward action film. From the gritty realism of The Black Bounty Hunter, we turn to a film that reimagined the classic outlaw narrative with black heroes at its center. Thomasine Bushrod, often described as a Black Bonnie and Clyde. This film stars Max Julian, famous for The Mac, and Vonetta McGee as lovers who become bank robbers in the early 1900s. But unlike the real Bonnie and Clyde, these outlaws are portrayed as Robin Hood figures, stealing from rich white capitalists and giving to Mexicans, Native Americans, and poor whites. Director Gordon Parks Jr. brings the same visual flair he showed in Superfly to the Western landscape. The film stands out for giving McGee's Thomasine equal agency in the outlaw partnership. She's not just along for the ride, but an active participant in planning their heists. What makes Thomasine and Bushrod particularly interesting is how it subverts the traditional Western's law and order narrative. Here, the outlaws are the heroes because the law itself is corrupt and racist. From serious outlaws, we shift to a Western that brought much-needed humor to the genre, pairing two of the era's most charismatic black stars. Adios Amigo. This comedy Western brought together football star turned actor Fred Williamson and comedy legend Richard Pryor. Williamson plays a black cowboy who reluctantly partners with Pryor's scheming drifter for a series of misadventures across the frontier. The film's tagline, "Two sharp dudes taking turns with chicks and tricks," promised the kind of action and humor that Blaxploitation audiences had come to expect. What makes Adios Amigo stand out is how it uses comedy to address racial dynamics in the West, with Pryor's quick wit serving as both entertainment and commentary. From comedy, we move to an action-packed adventure that brought together three of the biggest black action stars of the era. Take a Hard Ride. This ambitious Western united Jim Brown, Fred Williamson, and martial arts star Jim Kelly in a story about a trail boss trying to deliver $86,000 to his late boss's ranch in Mexico. Along the way, he picks up unlikely allies while being pursued by bounty hunters and bandits. What makes Take a Hard Ride unique is how it blends traditional Western elements with martial arts sequences for Jim Kelly's character. Director Antonio Margheriti brings Italian Western style to the production, with sweeping landscapes and brutal gunfights. The film's tagline proudly proclaimed it rides with the great Westerns, and while it may not reach the heights of Leone or Ford, it delivers spectacular action and the undeniable pleasure of seeing three black action icons sharing the screen. From ensemble action, we move to a more personal tale of revenge starring the prolific Fred Williamson. Joshua. Williamson returned to the Western genre with this revenge tale he also directed. He plays a Union soldier who returns from the Civil War to find his mother murdered by white thugs. Taking the name Joshua, he becomes a bounty hunter with one mission: tracking down and killing every man responsible. The film follows a classic Western revenge structure, but with a black hero at its center, it takes on additional resonance. Joshua isn't just avenging a personal wrong, he's striking back against the systemic violence faced by black Americans even after emancipation. We conclude our journey through forgotten Blaxploitation Westerns with a film that directly confronts the racial tensions of the post-Civil War era. The McMasters. This powerful drama stars Brock Peters as a former slave who finds himself caught in a web of racial conflict when his ex-master Burl Ives gives him a plot of land. When only Native Americans will work for a black man, tensions in the community explode into violence. Director Stu Hagman doesn't shy away from the ugly realities of post-Civil War America. Jack Palance delivers a chilling performance as the racist rabble-rouser who can't accept the changing social order. What makes the McMasters particularly relevant is how it shows the complex relationships between different marginalized groups, Black Americans and Native Americans, as they navigate a system designed to pit them against each other. It's a nuanced take on racial politics that was rare for Westerns of any era. These 10 films represent a brief but significant moment when Black heroes claimed their rightful place in Western mythology. They may have been forgotten by mainstream film history, but their impact lives on, challenging the whitewashed version of the West and expanding what a Western hero could look like. From Jim Brown's commanding presence to Sidney Poitier's dignified strength, from Fred Williamson's charismatic confidence to the historical truth of Black rodeo, these films deserve rediscovery. They're not just important for what they represented in the 1970s. They're damn good Westerns that still entertain today.